Imagine this. On an ordinary night, millions of people vanish without a trace. Beds are left empty, cars crash by themselves on highways, planes fall from the sky because their pilots disappeared mid-flight. Parents scream for their children. Husbands search desperately for their wives. And in seconds, the entire planet descends into absolute terror. That event has a name, the Rapture, according to the Bible. It's the moment when true believers are taken from earth to meet God, leaving behind a world collapsing in chaos. It was supposed to be the most glorious moment for the faithful, but the darkest nightmare for those left behind. Here's the terrifying part. The rapture didn't happen. Thousands of preachers swore the time had already come worse. Pandemics, financial collapse, natural disasters. All the signs were there, yet nothing occurred, and that absence is no coincidence. Have you ever wondered why? Some believe the rapture was delayed, but what few dare to say is this: it may already be happening. Silently, all around you. Not like the movie show, but as a hidden process where souls are being chosen, one by one, while the rest of humanity remains blind. Think about it. What if every tragedy, every economic crisis, every sudden loss you see in the world is actually a sign that the rapture has already begun and you never noticed? What if the true chosen ones aren't vanishing in an instant, but are already being marked while the rest of us are left behind in darkness? Stay with me until the end, because what I'm about to reveal will shatter everything you thought you knew about the Bible, money, and your future. What you discover today won't just frighten you. It could change the way you see your own life and your eternal destiny.
The rapture is not just a forgotten prophecy. Hidden in the dusty pages of the Bible, it is perhaps the most chilling and mysterious promise Christians have awaited for centuries. The Apostle Paul described it with words that still send shivers down our spines. "The dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we who are alive shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air." 1 Thessalonians 16:17. Sounds glorious, doesn't it? But it also sounds terrifying, because the rapture is not only about salvation, it is also about abandonment. For those left behind, the worst nightmare in human history will begin. A world without faith, without hope, ruled by chaos. What's shocking is that while millions waited for this event to visibly take place, nothing happened. And that apparent delay opened a chasm of questions. Did God change his plans? Did humanity misinterpret the signs? Or perhaps the rapture won't unfold the way movies and preachers told us it would. Here's a detail few mention. The signs Jesus spoke about in the gospel were not only spiritual, but also deeply tied to economy, power, and the control of nations. There will be famines, pestilences, and earthquakes in various places. Famines mean food crises. Pestilences mean pandemics, and earthquakes can also be understood as financial collapses shaking global stability. And today we see all of this happening right before our eyes. Runaway inflation, banks collapsing, currencies losing value, nations at war over resources. Isn't it strange that these signs perfectly match the biblical narrative of the end times? What makes this even more terrifying is that while people wonder why the rapture didn't happen, the most powerful on the planet, bankers, political leaders, tech magnates, seem to be pulling the strings of a dark agenda that may be directly linked to the great deception the Bible warns about. Picture a scenario where faith is manipulated to control the masses, where fear of the rapture is weaponized, and where money itself becomes the true mark of belonging. What if the rapture is not only a spiritual event, but also a financial and psychological war to decide who will be taken and who will be condemned to live in a world dominated by the Antichrist? This video doesn't aim to give you comfortable answers. It aims to open your eyes. Because while some wait for a miracle in the skies, the real rapture may already be happening here on Earth, through bank transactions, economic crises, and political decisions preparing us for a new world order. Stay with me until the end, because you will discover biblical secrets that connect the rapture with the financial moves currently ruling the planet. What you are about to hear may be the most disturbing and revealing truth you've ever encountered. The entire world is walking on a tightrope, and the most disturbing part is that every single sign Jesus announced is already here. We're not talking about vague metaphors. We're talking about real events you can witness today if you dare to open your eyes. Wars and rumors of wars. The Middle East is burning like never before. Nations rise against nations. And behind every conflict lie economic interests. Oil, gas, strategic resources, what many call international politics. Those who know biblical prophecy recognize as the very echo of Christ's words. Nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. Matthew 24:7. Coincidence? Not a chance. Plagues and diseases, pandemics that paralyze the planet, laboratories playing God, viruses mysteriously emerging in strategic places. The Bible foretold it. Pestilences in various places. And every time a health crisis hits, what follows? A global financial collapse. Isn't it strange how biology and economics always walk hand in hand? Hunger and famine. While supermarkets may still look full, behind the scenes food prices skyrocket. Nations fight over grains, water, basic resources. In some regions, bread is already being called a luxury. Revelation describes it clearly. A quart of wheat for a denarius. In other words, food will become so expensive that only the wealthy will escape suffering. Now ask yourself, isn't this already happening? Every sign is tied together by one thread, money. The rapture is not only spiritual, it's economic. While people wait for a glorious event in the skies, the financial elites of the planet use fear to tighten their grip. Every war raises the value of weapons and oil. Every pandemic multiplies pharmaceutical fortunes. Every economic collapse strengthens the banks that impose new rules. The question is unavoidable. What if the rapture is not just about disappearing, but about being separated from the system that's coming? A system where anyone who doesn't comply will be shut out of the global economy. The Bible warned us plainly. No one may buy or sell unless they have the mark. Revelation 13:17. Look around. Digital payment systems, government-controlled virtual currencies, financial surveillance. Do you really believe all of this is for convenience? Or could it be the stage, being set for a future where faith and money will merge in a sinister pact? The rapture, then, is not simply the sudden vanishing of millions. It is the prelude to a global system in which those not spiritually set apart will be trapped. The silence of this event does not mean God forgot his promise. It means that what's coming will be far more terrifying than we ever imagined. If in the previous part we looked at the signs, now we must talk about the great deception. Because the real question isn't just why the rapture didn't happen, but who benefits from it not happening yet. The Bible warns that before the coming of the Antichrist, there will be a time of confusion and spiritual manipulation. For false Christs and false prophets will rise and show great signs and wonders to deceive, if possible, even the elect. Matthew 24:24. Do you see it? The danger isn't only for the unbelieving world, it's also for those who think they're ready. Today, while people wait for a trumpet in the sky, the most influential religious leaders on earth seem to have made a silent pact with financial elites. Churches preaching prosperity but silent about holiness. Pastors selling miracles but never speaking about the cost of the soul. Organizations presenting themselves as guardians of faith but in reality acting as arms of a global system that fuses religion and economy. The Vatican signs agreements with international bodies. Mega preachers invest millions in cryptocurrency. Spiritual leaders tour like politicians more than prophets. And meanwhile, ordinary believers live in debt, trapped in a system designed to enslave rather than free. This is where the darkest theory takes shape. What if the rapture hasn't happened because the world is already under a false rapture, one manufactured by the powerful to distract us from the real one? A media spectacle keeping the masses waiting for glory, while secretly building the Antichrist's system. Look at the headlines. Accidental economic crises, pandemics with mandatory vaccines, wars that erupt without logical explanation. All of this feeds fear, and fear breeds obedience. What happens when people are afraid? They accept any solution, even if that solution means giving up freedom. Digital money, AI controlling markets, the disappearance of cash. It all looks normal, even convenient. But what happens the day they say, without this mark, without this code, without this chip, you cannot buy or sell? Then you'll understand the rapture was never only spiritual. It was also economic, political, total. The silence of the rapture does not mean absence. It means preparation. Like a stage before the curtain rises, the lights are still off, but the actors are already in place. The powerful have already moved their pieces. And the audience, you, me, all of us, are still waiting for a trumpet sound, while perhaps the real rapture has already begun and no one noticed. Get ready, because what you will hear in the climax is not fiction. It's a direct warning that may terrify you, and at the same time open your eyes to the reality you've preferred to ignore. Imagine waking up one morning and realizing everything has changed. No trumpets, no mass disappearances, no sky splitting open with angels descending. And yet, something invisible is already ruling the earth. The financial systems that once looked harmless are now invisible chains. The new digital currencies are no longer an option. They are mandatory. Those who refuse simply cannot buy or sell. What once seemed like technological progress has become the mark of total control. Do you see it now? The rapture did not fail. The rapture is underway, but not in the glorious way movies portrayed it. Instead, in the most silent and terrifying way possible, slowly separating those who don't belong, while the rest are marked as slaves of a new world order. The Bible warned us bluntly in Revelation. It also forced all people, great and small, rich and poor, free and slave, to receive a mark on their right hand or on their foreheads, so that they could not buy or sell unless they had the mark. Revelation 13:16-17. That future is no longer future. It is present. Every global crisis you saw was a rehearsal. Every pandemic was a test of obedience. Every war was a smokescreen. And meanwhile, the elites sealed deals leading us directly into the Antichrist's reign. Look around you. Cameras watch you. Your phone tracks your every move. Your bank accounts can be frozen with a single click. Do you really believe you are free? Or are you already trapped in the system, naively waiting for a rapture that may have already begun without you? The climax of the rapture is not a glorious spectacle. It is the raw revelation. Those who were not spiritually set apart are already living in the Great Tribulation. And the most chilling part is that most people don't even know it. This is not just a religious message. It is a warning. Because while you wait for signs in the sky, the real battle is happening in your wallet, in your mind, and in your faith. The silent rapture separates those who will resist the system from those who will be marked, without even questioning it. And you? Have you already been chosen, or already marked? Now you know. The rapture is not a fantasy, nor a story used by preachers to scare the weak. It is real. But the most disturbing part is that it may already be happening, silently, right before your eyes. You didn't see it because you were expecting trumpets in the sky, lights in the clouds, visible miracles. When in reality, the true rapture has been slowly separating those who remain faithful, while the rest are falling into the system's trap. Think about everything we've analyzed: wars, plagues, financial crises, manipulation by governments and elites. It all points to the same conclusion: a world ready to welcome the Antichrist. A stage where faith will be replaced by fear, and money will become the new mark defining who belongs and who is cast out. And here comes the most terrifying conclusion. If you don't understand the signs, if you don't wake up now, you could be left behind. Not in some distant future, but right now. You see it already: uncontrolled inflation, mandatory digital currencies, absolute control over your information and your life. That is the true face of the Great Tribulation. But there is hope. The Bible didn't leave us without weapons. You can still decide which side you'll stand on. And that decision doesn't start in great nations, or mega churches, or in the banks that dominate the world. It starts in your heart, in your faith, in your ability to open your eyes and resist deception. Do not ignore this warning. The silence of the rapture does not mean the absence of God. It means His plan is still unfolding and you must choose. Before you close this video, I want you to do something. Hit the like button if this message shook you and opened your eyes. Subscribe so you never miss the truth the mainstream will never dare to tell you. Turn on the notification bell, because what's coming in the next videos will be even more revealing, more unsettling, and more shocking. If you do this, you're not just supporting this channel. You're ensuring that more people will receive this warning. And remember, every interaction you make here can turn into a blessing for your life, your family, and even your work. Time is running out. The rapture is no longer just a theory. It is a reality advancing as we speak. The final question is simple. Will you be ready when the decisive moment comes?